Hello. So maybe 10 years ago or more, yeah, going really back here, I clicked on some clickbait, how to eat with chopsticks. And it was more than just the you hold them like this and all that other stuff that you get with how to eat with chopsticks. It was actually different methods that are acceptable for eating with them. Um, so I wanted to go through that. There were actually five methods mentioned. I can only remember four. So I went online, tried to find the fifth one, couldn't. But I found little information about chopsticks. They aren't just Chinese; they're used throughout the Far East. Different countries. They're traditionally some are wood, some are metal. Sort of depends on what country you are from. There are actually different, depending on which country you're in. There are different acceptable ways to use them. But again, like I said, there's these original five ways um, are sort of, you know, overall, some countries don't include all five, others do. So the first, and this is the one I'm assuming this is the first. Like I said, I don't remember all five methods, but this one makes sense. Is basically you're just sort of scooping it. You just sort of, if you can get the stuff to balance on them, you put them on, you eat with them. Um, like I said, I'm not sure that's one of the official ways that I saw earlier. Like I said, it was about 10 years ago when I saw this video. But actually, it wasn't a video; it was an article. Sorry. But like I said, it makes sense because it works. You can sometimes balance stuff on your chopsticks and just eat them, sort of like a spoon without the curved part in it. So rice, you can pick up rice this way, but you can only pick up a few grains at a time, which is perfectly fine because the second way, which I do remember, it is perfectly acceptable to pick up your rice bowl and just push it in your mouth with you're not really picking stuff up, you're just sort of pushing it in your mouth. Here in the Western world, that would be very rude, but in the Far East, it is an acceptable way to eat rice with your chopsticks. Um, Again, if you're using chopsticks trying to pick up rice, it's very hard. So it makes sense that they would be a little more forgiving about people just shoving it in their mouth with their chopsticks. Number three. So the noodle was invented in the Far East. And of course, anyone who's eaten spaghetti knows you can twirl it on your fork. You can also twirl it with your chopsticks. And so, get your bowl, you twirl some stuff on. You aren't twirling the strands completely around the chopsticks. You're just getting enough on there to pick it up, and then the rest of them hang down. Put them in your mouth. Again, it's not rude to slurp your noodles in the Far East. It is here in the West. But then as you do, you can sort of use the chopstick as the noodles hang down. You can use them to keep them from flapping at you and getting gravy or sauce or whatever on you. The fourth method. Chopsticks are generally, they have a little point on the end. It's not a very sharp point, but it can still be used to stab stuff. So you got meat or anything soft that you can stab with your chopsticks. It is permissible to just stab them and put them in your mouth. Then the fifth way is the kind, this is the one that scares people away from chopsticks, keeps parents from taking children to Chinese restaurants, and this is the one where you got the whole diagram of you hold it like this and you balance, and they spend more time of their meal trying to look at these diagrams, how to, there was a time when restaurants actually had diagrams on how to use your chopsticks, or the chopstick packs had them on the outside. And this, like I said, this is what scares people away. This is the thing I can't do, so I never used chopsticks very often until recently. Recently, I was at a place, they had chopsticks like this. Instead of two sticks, it's one piece of wood. It's connected at the end. I mean, looking at this, it doesn't look like it was glued. It looks like this was carved out of one piece of wood. And the great thing about this is you put a little pressure on it, it goes apart. And then it comes back together. So you can actually pick stuff up with this. Find something I can pick up. One of my little people. If you get the person in deep enough, then look, well, not the person, the food. I'm picking up a person. You don't even have to do anything. A smaller piece of food you try to pick up, you might have to squeeze it a little. So basically, little pressure, it opens, squeeze it until it's tight. The other night I ate an entire Chinese meal for the first time using chopsticks because I was able to. We got these great chopsticks which work. You know, Americans or people who weren't raised using chopsticks don't have to look at a diagram to see how to eat them. Don't have to worry about dropping them on the floor. Well, you can still drop them on the floor, but it's not where you're going to drop one on the floor while trying to keep hold of the other. It's very easy to hold on to. I say both when, again, with this thing, there's really only one piece. It's just, I call it chopsticks plural because that's what it's based after. So, like I said, I've only seen this in one restaurant. Hope to see it in more restaurants in the future because, like I said, eating with chopsticks, it's not, people, oh, it's fun to eat with chopsticks. I'm not going to say it's fun to eat with chopsticks, but it's different. It's a challenge. Well, no longer a challenge because they make them good, or they make them like this sometimes. And so, like I said, the very short video this time around didn't have much to say. I looked up sort of history of chopsticks and didn't find much. Again, different nations have different customs, or the way materials are made out of, or proper which of the 5 techniques are actually allowed in that country. So not as much information as I had originally thought I was going to have. Very short video, but again, I found these great chopsticks that anyone can use. It doesn't take a I think one of the problems I had with the old chopsticks is just my knuckles are too big, and so trying to manipulate them, I'm going to drop one of them most of the time. So that was it. Just like I said, wanted to share that. For anyone interested in trying chopsticks, they now exist where you can actually eat with them, without being an expert. So I thought I'd share that with you, and have a good day.